Moana Pasifika's future in Super Rugby Pacific is hanging by a thread, with multiple reports indicating that the club could be axed at the end of the current 2026 season. The team, which only entered the competition in 2022 as part of an effort to better represent Pacific Island talent, now faces the very real prospect of extinction due to mounting financial challenges and the withdrawal of key support from its ownership group. At the center of the crisis is the Pacifica Medical Association, PMA, the organization that owns the franchise. According to reports, PMA Chief Executive Debbie Sorensen informed staff and stakeholders that while the organization will fulfill its financial commitments through the remainder of the 2026 campaign, it will not continue to fund the team beyond that point. This announcement has effectively placed the club in a race against time to secure new ownership if it hopes to remain part of Super Rugby Pacific in 2027. Running a professional rugby franchise at this level is an expensive undertaking. Estimates suggest that Moana Pasifika requires between $10 million and $12 million annually to operate competitively. Without a committed financial backer willing to shoulder those costs, the team's survival is in serious jeopardy. Reports indicate that PMA had already attempted to find a buyer by circulating a sales document late last year, but no suitable investors emerged. That lack of interest underscores the financial risks associated with owning a rugby franchise in a competition that has itself struggled with stability in recent years. Even if a potential buyer does come forward, the process is far from straightforward. New Zealand Rugby, NZR, would need to approve any new ownership group, as it ultimately holds authority over the competition structure and licensing. Prospective investors would need to demonstrate not only that they have the financial resources to sustain the club long-term but also a viable business plan that aligns with NZR's expectations. With pressure mounting from other teams to finalize the structure of the 2027 competition, time is rapidly running out for Moana Pasifika to secure a lifeline that if no solution is found, the team's final match could come on May 30th against the Brumbies, marking a premature end to a franchise that was initially seen as a significant step forward for Pacific Island representation in elite rugby. Such an outcome would add Moana Pasifika to a growing list of teams that have disappeared from Super Rugby in recent years. The Melbourne Rebels folded in 2024, while teams from South Africa, Argentina, and Japan exited the competition back in 2020 as part of a major restructuring effort. The financial picture for Moana Pasifika has been particularly challenging. The club reportedly received around $2 million per year from NZR as its share of broadcast revenue, along with approximately $1.9 million from World Rugby in earlier years. Additional funding came in the form of government grants and loans. However, those revenue streams have either diminished or disappeared entirely. Government funding has been exhausted, World Rugby is no longer contributing, and key sponsorship deals, such as a front-of-jersey agreement reportedly worth around $300,000 annually, are not expected to continue beyond 2026. This combination of shrinking income and high operational costs has left the club in an increasingly fragile position. PMA itself is said to be under financial strain, making it difficult for the organization to justify continued investment in a loss-making venture. Continuing to fund the team under these circumstances would represent a significant financial risk, one that PMA appears unwilling to take. Head coach Tana Umaga has previously spoken about the financial inequalities faced by Moana Pasifika compared to other teams in the competition. He highlighted the lack of consistent funding as a major obstacle, emphasizing that the club has not been operating on a level playing field. Umaga also pointed to the broader importance of supporting Pacific Island rugby, noting the significant contribution that players from the region make to the global game. His comments reflect a wider concern that the potential loss of Moana Pasifika would represent more than just the disappearance of a single team. The franchise was created with a specific purpose: to provide a platform for Pacific Island players and to strengthen the connection between elite rugby and Pacific communities. Over time, the team has begun to build a loyal following, with growing support from fans who identify with its mission and cultural significance. There have been signs of progress on the field as well. While results have been mixed, Moana Pasifika has shown flashes of competitiveness and has contributed to the overall excitement and diversity of the competition. The team's style of play and its emphasis on representing Pacific heritage have made it a unique and valuable part of Super Rugby Pacific. The potential collapse of the club would also have significant implications for players. One of the most notable cases is that of Ardie Savea, one of New Zealand's top rugby stars. Savea had committed to joining Moana Pasifika as part of his Super Rugby future, even taking a sabbatical to play in Japan with the intention of returning to the club. If Moana Pasifika ceases to exist, he, and other players, would be left scrambling to find new opportunities. A return to a former team such as the Hurricanes could be an option, but it would depend on financial considerations and roster availability. Beyond individual players, the broader impact on Super Rugby Pacific could be substantial. The competition has already undergone numerous changes over the past decade, with teams entering and exiting in response to financial pressures and shifting strategic priorities. Stability has been a key goal for league organizers, who have emphasized the importance of maintaining a consistent lineup of teams to build fan engagement and commercial viability. Super Rugby Pacific CEO Jack Messley has previously stressed that the focus should be on strengthening the existing structure rather than pursuing expansion or replacement teams. His comments highlight the delicate balance that the competition must strike between growth and sustainability. Losing another team would not only disrupt that balance but could also undermine confidence in the league's long-term stability. Efforts to save Moana Pasifika are reportedly ongoing. There have been discussions with potential investors, including former players and business figures, but no deal has yet materialized. Among those linked to possible involvement are high-profile individuals with both rugby and business experience, as well as a consortium led by a former club executive. However, turning interest into a concrete and viable ownership proposal remains a significant challenge. Any successful bid would need to address not only the immediate financial requirements but also the long-term vision for the club. This includes building sustainable revenue streams, strengthening community engagement, and ensuring competitive performance on the field. Without a clear and convincing plan, it is unlikely that NZR would approve a transfer of ownership. The situation also raises broader questions about the financial model of professional rugby, particularly in regions where commercial opportunities are more limited. While the inclusion of teams like Moana Pasifika has cultural and developmental benefits, it also highlights the difficulties of sustaining such initiatives without consistent and substantial financial backing. Ultimately, the fate of Moana Pasifika will depend on whether a solution can be found in the coming months. The clock is ticking, and the stakes are high, not just for the club itself, but for the players, fans, and communities that it represents. If a new owner steps forward with the resources and vision needed to secure the team's future, Moana Pasifika could yet continue its journey and fulfill its original mission. That if not, its disappearance would mark another chapter in the ongoing evolution and instability of Super Rugby, serving as a stark reminder of the financial realities that continue to shape the professional game.